was a chaotic week inside the Big Brother house, the first double eviction of the season, and it did not disappoint. Welcome to the B2M2 podcast. I'm Michael Hoad here with my co-host Mitchell Machtinger, and this week we're extremely fortunate to have Beaulne with us. Thanks for coming in, Brett.
Hey,
How's it going?
Good. No problem, guys. I'm really happy to be here. You know, I would have never thought I'd be doing something like this, but couldn't be happier that I am. So excited to get it going.
Glad to have you along. So there's so much to talk about, so let's just jump right into it. We'll pick it up with last week's HOH competition. So when we left last Thursday, it was still going on in that HOH competition, and we were wondering if they were going to keep going with questions or just go immediately to a tiebreaker. They did end up going just to the tiebreak, which was very surprising for me. I mean, they could have just squeezed that in. Nicole and Donnie end up winning HOHs, and everyone actually went over the total in their guesses. What are your quick thoughts about Nicole and Donnie's victories there, guys?
First of all, I thought it was hilarious that Zach came up with like 3,000 seconds or something, and everyone else was in the hundreds, and Zach was just 6 times as much as the other person's highest answer. So don't know what Zach was thinking there.
It's okay though, because his math was wrong.
Yeah,
So
was it ever? I thought it was. I mean, good for those two people. Nicole was HOH early in the season, was she not? It was good to her to get a second one. I mean, she's proven that she can. Win some competitions, and everyone's gotta love Donnie.
Gotta love the beard.
Yeah, good to see the guy win. I feel like he's definitely one of America's favorites and one of my personal favorites. So I mean, when it goes to a tiebreak, it's pretty much a crapshoot, right? I mean,
Oh yeah.
I guess it takes some sort of skill, but at the same time to have the ability to not go over, but at the same time, be relatively close to it under. I don't feel like anybody could get that done.
I think they went straight to the tiebreaker because they didn't have time to come up with new questions. I think they literally ran out of questions, not just ran out of time, but ran out of questions.
Exhausted the question bank, eh? Jeez,
Yeah.
Everyone was left in that competition. It seemed it was.
Yeah, they're killing it.
Yeah.
Like 11 for 11.
Yeah,
Did 11
and there
Never
was
seen.
five left in the end, which is pretty surprising. I don't think I've ever seen that.
So Nicole, when she wins, isn't that happy about it. She still wants to be flying under the radar a little. I don't know if she didn't want to win. I feel like that was a really easy comp to just throw.
Mm-hmm.
But Donnie was happy. So Nicole and Donnie say that they're going to work together. Surprise, surprise. More HOH collusion. And Donnie wants to bring Hayden in on the decision making. So we go over to Derek and Frankie, and they feel safe this week because neither of them have nominated Donnie in the past, and they just gave up that $5,000 for not going along with Team America's challenge, which was Donnie's idea. So Zach actually goes up to Nicole and has the brilliant idea to volunteer to go on the block. He says that's reverse psychology, but I don't really know what he was thinking. What do you guys think of the move?
I think he said that was reverse psychology. I don't believe that for a second. I think he knew he was going to go up because of what he did to Nicole the previous week. So instead of having to think to him, he knew he was going to. So instead of thinking to himself after, like, Nicole got me up there. Nicole, she got me back. She got me on the block. By him going up to her and saying, "Oh, you know what? You can put me on the block. Like, I'm good with you putting me up there." It's kind of like him going and looking himself in the mirror and being able to say, "I'm up there because I want to be up there. I'm up there because I said that she could put me up. So it's all good now."
But again, like
if
you never want to be on the block, you don't volunteer yourself to go on the block. So
he didn't. I think he knew he was going up, and it was some moral kind of, I don't know, victory for him or something. He's a goofball.
So the gameplay begins, and Nicole pulls Derek aside and lets him in on the plan that she wants to backdoor Frankie. And Derek originally just plays along, but that's just for show. He has no plans of backdooring Frankie right now because of the Team America alliance. And then Caleb goes over to Donnie, and Caleb's put Donnie up in the past. So Caleb just goes and tells him, "Hey, if you're going to put me up, at least don't put me up with a weak player like Victoria." And then Donnie, of course, ends up putting him up with Victoria on his team.
Yeah, the whole plan to backdoor Frankie, this was in the first 10 minutes of the episode, and it really fired me up for the week. I was finally not going to be a unanimous vote this week. There's going to be some lines in the sand and some big names shaking in their boots for once. Because, like they said, Frankie, Derek, and Cody have never been on the block. So it set a good tone for the week.
Unfortunately, it did not actually happen,
No,
which we will get to later. But totally agree with that. That would have obviously been a game changer. I don't believe that Frankie would have seen it coming at all.
Oh, for sure not.
And he would have been very, very rattled. I would be interested to see kind of how he would react after something like that. But yeah, unfortunately, that didn't come to fruition.
So Caleb and Victoria are up against Nicole's nominations, Jocasta and Zach. So the battle of the block competition is to create this like dominoes path, and if you assemble your dominoes right and they knock over this bullseye, you win the challenge. But along the way, there are punishments. So Caleb and Victoria end up winning the challenge. Somehow Victoria actually won another one, pulled along by Caleb. And then the punishments were slop for 2 weeks, shaved heads, or that's actually just shaved head, singular.
Yeah, I thought they'd both have to shave their head.
And Adam and Eve, and we didn't really know what that was. So with that, Donnie is dethroned, and Nicole is the first female HOH to survive. I didn't realize that there hadn't been a...
Yeah, me neither. I never really
Yeah,
thought
because
of
they've
that.
all been going out the door.
Mhm.
But there was one punishment, I think it was on Zach's side. It was called See No Evil, Hear No Evil.
Huh.
I was curious what that would have been. But what did you guys think of them putting some more weight behind the Battle of the Block competitions in terms of punishments? Like there was one where they couldn't be HOH next
That
week.
was brutal, yeah.
So it's like they're already on the block, and then you're going to punish them more. So like, is that fair? And at first I thought it was also a sign that the whole Battle of the Block thing could be ending too.
I mean, I think the only unfair part about it is, so just for that week, for the Battle of the Block, the group that comes out victorious in the Battle of the Block, their game in the near future could also be hindered. Whereas in another, so it's kind of just unlucky, I guess, to be up on the block for that week, because, like you said, I mean, somebody could have had no HOH for the next week. You know, that obviously has a big effect on the game. In the previous weeks, there weren't, punishments like that. But it's something definitely to spice up the game. But for the people that actually got affected by it, I feel, I'd feel a little bit bad for them if their game was hindered by it. But, shaved head, no biggie, right?
Yeah, luckily the ones that ended up being picked weren't too bad.
So I thought that this would have been actually a good HOH competition in terms of like picking your punishments. Like, how badly do you want to be HOH?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Like, would you not play an HOH next? Well, I mean, you wouldn't anyways, but like that kind of thing. Like, would you be on slop next week?
Like, no veto, maybe.
Yeah,
be
no
safe,
veto to be HOH this
Yeah.
week. So I think it would have been a good HOH competition.
Yeah, I agree.
So Caleb is freaking out about getting his hair shaved off. Victoria doesn't have to do it. Caleb's the only one that does. And then he's going on about how it's going to take 2 months for it to grow back properly. And then he even drops the bomb that he's in a worse predicament than Zach is, who's on the block. Extremely dramatic. So Nicole goes over and tells Frankie that she wants Zach out of the game. And then Frankie starts to try to get info out of Nicole, but Nicole is rock steady. She doesn't give up any info to the person she's trying to backdoor. The other punishment was the Adam and Eve, and that's Caleb and Victoria have to be chained together for 48 hours, and they're not really wearing anything at all. They just have these leaves covering their sensitive areas. What did you think of that punishment?
It's standard Big Brother.
Classic.
I mean, yeah, the handcuff of 48 hours.
Yeah. Just the funniest two people to put together based on the fact that they just can't stand each other.
For sure.
They
Or maybe
despise
Caleb
each
can't
other.
handle Victoria. Can Victoria handle Caleb? Does she have?
She was going on about how he's annoying, but
Yeah.
that's probably just for show.
Yeah.
He's being annoying because she's annoying.
Yeah. The best was how she would be putting on makeup for 2 hours, then he wanted to go play a game of pool. She was not down to play back-to-back games. She's
It's always funny when they're handcuffed together, and then you see one of them's in the shower, and the other one's just sitting outside,
Yeah.
just waiting for them to finish.
so awkward.
I laugh every year. Good stuff.
We find out in a flashback that Nicole, Hayden, Derek, and Cody had sort of talked about this alliance. So then they get called up to the HOH room and they materialize the alliance. Hayden pitches the name of Quadropolis originally. I don't really know what that was all about. Then Hayden comes up with the rationale, I know, Mitch, you were a fan
I
of that.
actually love the name.
I think
It's
those
pretty
names,
sick.
those names are trash.
Yeah, I don't like either of those names
I
either.
think they should have just let Derek think of it. He's a beast at coming up with a name. But
It's like simple but classic, you know. I like it.
well, the rationale did not end up working out too well.
Yeah, I think it's one of those alliances that like forms just because like four people in a room together. And like,
Yeah.
oh hey, let's work together.
And you
then,
can't decline it.
Yeah,
You
you're not
can't
going to say no.
Yeah.
And then it's like, oh, production finds it's like, oh, this might happen this week, so here's the reason why from 20 days ago. Like, oh, this alliance formed. So it's like, oh, this is relevant for this week, so here we're going to show it. But I was interested because it was two power couples working together. You had Nicole and Hayden, and then you had Derek and Cody, and it's almost like you wait and see which one of them is going to strike the other first.
Yeah. Go ahead.
Yeah, based on the people involved, I was a big fan of it when they put it together. And I mean, with this season, any season, you don't really know which alliances are going to stay completely true to each other and actually have each other's backs, no matter what. But at first glance, I see four pretty strong players there, four pretty heady players. Like Mitch said, two power couples. Kind of wish things turned out differently. I like those four people.
Yeah, they're good.
Yeah, I like them.
So Derek and Cody are getting a little worried because they're in all these different alliances. I mean, they're still sort of in the Bomb Squad. I think Caleb still thinks the Bomb Squad exists. Then they're in the Detonators, and now they're in Rationale. Plus Derek's in Team America, so they're just
And
playing
they're also in
all
like
sides.
the Three Amigos or whatever was that.
Oh yeah, what was that? Then Christine actually goes over to Nicole and tries to plant the seed to keep Zach as the target because Christine really wants Zach gone. It's a little unrest in the Detonators. Christine suggests to Nicole that she put up Cody or Derek as a replacement nominee. And then Christine's also worried that Hayden and Nicole are getting too tight, and she's getting to be the odd person out in that Weirdos alliance. So Christine starts spreading lies about Hayden and Victoria to try and drive a wedge between Hayden and Nicole. But
Yep.
Hayden just immediately goes and clears things up, and that starts Nicole's distrust of Christine.
This was the kind of player I was expecting from Christine based on her pre-game bio and such. It didn't really happen until this week when she, I guess, picked her side of the house and rolled with it. But it was good to see her step her game up. She was playing a bit under the radar, and now she's in it to win it, I guess.
It's nice to see her be willing to plant those seeds of doubt and kind of stir things up a little bit, but she's got to realize that people talk too for her own game. So she goes and says that to Nicole. Now any trust she had with Nicole before is absolutely gone because she's got to know. And Nicole and Hayden are tight. Of course, she's going to go say whatever information Nicole got from Christine. Of course, she's going to go to Hayden and try to see if that's true or not. So I like what she's doing, but I think she's just a number. I think she's just a number for the guys. I think her time is limited.
She's definitely
she's taken.
She's on the bottom of the power rankings.
Yeah,
for
and
the,
like it's kind of hard to trust her now too because people kind of know that she's saying this and that. She's stirring it up a little bit.
So Caleb, Christine, and Victoria end up being picked for the veto. Nicole's not happy with these picks, and then Zach actually goes and more or less guarantees a victory. But devastating news for me was everyone participating in this contest was Team Mitch. So he's guaranteed 7 points for the veto there.
The all-star team.
So the veto is one of those one-at-a-time competitions. It was called BB Comics. There were a bunch of comic book covers with house guests on them in this window. You had to go zip line by them and then memorize them and put them in order. Victoria, of course, didn't finish. She maxed out her time. Christine ends up winning the veto. And she doesn't know whether to use it or leave the noms the same. So Christine doesn't end up using the veto. Surprise at all?
I would have tried to convince her to take off Jocasta and go with the plan to backdoor Frankie, because if Frankie and Zach are on the block together, means either way one of them are going home, and it's also one less vote to keep the other. But it was good for her game to keep the nominations the same. So
yeah, that's exactly it. I mean, she wanted Zach on all along too, right? So keeping Jocasta beside Zach, Christine just figures, we'll let Jocasta slide by another week and we'll just vote whoever she's, against out. Obviously, it didn't happen, but no, I don't think she should have used it.
Okay, so here's where the week starts to get crazy. It's the Thursday night, the double eviction. First thing, we find out that the jury begins tonight. My first thought is, wow, that's early.
Yeah, 9-person jury. Normally it's 7.
Yeah.
So
So Julie tells us at the outset of the episode that pretty much everyone has turned on Zach while Zach's been sleeping. Frankie comes out of the have-not room and stumbles onto Cody and Derek having this private conversation. Pretty awkward. He clearly interrupted them, and then they just changed the topic on him.
that's always awkward. It's like you open a door and like 2 people are like in a room.
Yeah.
And it's like if they're just talking about, if they're like whispering, it's like, oh, like do you just pretend you didn't open the door and just close it or whatever?
Especially when they're in your alliance and they're
That's true.
Yeah,
That's the
weirder.
big thing too.
yeah, it's sketchy. So Cody and Derek bring Caleb into the discussion of voting out Zach, and Caleb is actually reluctant to do this because as loose of a candidate as Zach is, he's still a number for their side. So Derek's starting to have second thoughts about this whole Zach plan. He changes his mind and ends up wanting to expose the rationale, sort of blow up the house a bit. Cody tells Frankie and Christine about the plan, and then Nicole walks in and they stop talking. Cody's just not having any luck with private conversations. We also find out that the dual HOH and Battle of the Block is not happening, but only this week because of the double eviction. Apparently it's coming back next week.
Yeah, so the numbers are getting pretty tight. I mean, with between 2 HOHs and 4 Battle of the Block people and 10 left. How many left?
I think there's 9
9 left.
9 left.
So that's 3 out of 9 people safe between the 1 HOH and the 2 Battle of the Block winners. So
Maybe that's what they're trying to do. Create like some good TV like that, you know? Like,
Yeah.
less and less people safe every week. I mean, it has to change. It has to go back.
Yeah,
revert back to normal eventually, doesn't
it's
it?
not going to last maybe like 1-2 more weeks.
Yeah.
That's it.
And Julie also teases that if you're out of the house, you're not out of the game.
It's the worst.
We don't know what this means yet.
I don't care. Like, I hate it. If you're out, you're out of the house. I hate it when people get back in.
Yep.
It ruins everybody else's game, and it's like you work so hard to get this person out, and then they come back in. Especially if it's like a popular vote. Even then, it's just I hate it. Any show, just like if you're out, you're out. There's a reason why you got evicted.
Plus, I mean, if you're out of the game and you come back a few weeks later, that's like 3 weeks that you haven't been playing while
Yeah.
other people have been. Not really fair, in my opinion. But I guess we'll cross that bridge when we come to it. Maybe Julie's just throwing a whole like double curveball at us and no one's coming back.
I hope so.
So in this first eviction of the week, Jocasta is evicted 6-2, and Hayden's reaction was he was pretty shocked about this.
Yeah, he let Julie know later. He's like, once I saw that, you know, I kind of knew what was going on, and you know, it's too bad for Hayden. But I mean, I think that was the right move for all those people, right? To keep Zach. I mean, it made sense. Yeah, he's annoying. Yeah, he's a loose cannon. You can't really trust him. But by having him in the house, he is a number that likely, you know, who knows who the guy's going after, honestly. I mean, who knows he's going after, but
And he's also everybody's target too.
Right.
exactly. So
Keep him there.
Exactly. I mean, he's with you. They're going to go after him before you, right? So
Yeah.
I think that's a very good play.
So the new HOH challenge is called like over, under, or exactly. Julie will ask a question, and it's a number, and the house guests have to say if the answer is less than that number, more than that number, or exactly that number. First question gets asked, and I think all of them but 3 got eliminated.
Yeah, at first with the whole HOH conversation, I thought it was gonna be math. The way, like, actual like 1 + 1 is 2. Like the way Julie worded it.
Wrong.
The way Julie worded it, it made it sound like that. So I was like, okay, Derek and Christine, like you guys are my 2 favorites in this competition.
Why do you say Derek and Christine?
The smartest.
Yeah, I mean,
I think Christine's the smartest. One of the smartest.
I think she's smart.
Yeah.
She got the look.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I also think I got the look too. And I don't know if I could back that up. So
Looks can be deceiving.
yeah, maybe I was wrong in my prediction.
So you're probably very surprised then that Caleb ends up winning the HOH.
But Christine was in final 2 with him.
Yeah.
So
Fair enough. Caleb has just a few minutes to pick his nominations, and he picks Donnie and Hayden. Surprised at all by this?
if you put up Hayden, I mean, unless they talked about backdooring Nicole, I don't know why they didn't put up Nicole.
I thought it
together.
was going to be the plan to backdoor Nicole.
Okay.
I agree. I also think, it worked for Caleb too, putting up Donnie, because he put up Donnie the first time. Donnie puts him back up. He just returns the favor. I like how he made it very clear, though, that this isn't only my decision. This is what people are telling me.
Yeah.
So he could have kept that on the down low for the other people's sake. I mean, it doesn't really matter for him, but he just wanted to make that clear that people are chirping in my ear. This is what I'm hearing. So you're going up, Hayden.
Zach, Victoria, and Christine are the ones picked for the veto. And the veto challenge was to dig out 3 little rubber duckies from this ball pit and take them back to your stand, press the button. Simple enough. Donnie actually ends up winning. I'm not surprised anymore. Donnie's a beast.
Yeah.
I mean,
He was Zach's slowest mover up and down the thing, though. And Zach had a big lead, and he was the fastest mover.
Zach had the early lead, but in most competitions like this, even in HOH, it looks like he stops trying, or it's like he doesn't care that he loses. Like, he celebrates in front of everyone that he lost. I mean, you saw at the end of the veto, he was just sitting on the edge of his ball pit, just once he saw Donnie running. It's funny to say that and think about the image of that, but I mean, he was literally sitting there and just watching Donnie run to the end. So.
He didn't look like he was going as aggressively, too, as he got a second nut through the ball pit. It looked like if I'm in that ball pit and I'm looking for my third one, I'm just throwing balls out.
Yeah.
I am going hard for
Absolutely.
it. He looked like he was just fishing through. So maybe he did try not to win that.
I'm also surprised we didn't see that strategy where someone just gathers all 3 at once and puts them in a little area and just goes back and forth quickly.
That's smart. Yeah.
You usually see that.
Yeah.
But maybe these competitors weren't the sharpest tools in the shed.
But, I don't know. I think they didn't have enough time for that.
To each their own, yeah. So Donnie ends up using the veto on himself. Actually, before we get to that, it looked like he sort of tweaked his ankle or something there.
Did he?
He was being helped
Yeah.
off by. You guys catch that?
No,
He
I
just,
didn't
he just
catch that.
winded himself. He was
I
still
caught
out
him
of breath.
being like a respirator.
Too. He's just a mess. Anyway, so he uses the veto on himself, and Nicole goes up. And the first vote cast was from Cody, and he voted to evict Nicole. I thought Nicole was gone, but Hayden ends up being evicted 5-2.
Yeah, it was interesting when you see Christine was up next, I think, and she voted out Hayden. And then Derek was up next, and you could see them in the hallway. They're like, oh, who'd you vote for? She's like, Hayden. And he's like,
Yeah.
and then he votes out Hayden.
I didn't think that was allowed. Maybe on double eviction
Yeah.
nights it is, but
I don't know. I've never actually known the rule about that, but it was also interesting that Victoria voted out Hayden. I saw Derek talking to Victoria after, at the end of the episode too. I think maybe they got in her ear for this week even, because Caleb didn't nominate her either.
yeah. Victoria's just easy to sway, I feel.
Yeah,
Yeah.
she'll
do
She's
it.
kind of irrelevant. I mean,
Yeah.
she's just dead weight, right?
Yeah, day by day basis she plays. So.
Yeah. But
But I mean, like we saw with Zach, you can see how quickly things can change within a day. So,
what do you guys think about the choice to evict Hayden as opposed to Nicole? You think he was the more dangerous player?
Well, I think he's more of a threat to win competitions against guys like Caleb or Cody. But I think they could have reined him in easier. I think Nicole was sort of the brains behind the whole Frankie backdoor. And I think Nicole would actually go after them harder than Hayden would have.
that's a fair point. I think if this wasn't a live eviction and the nominations were the same, whatever, I think they would have had more time to talk about reopening that Frankie backdoor discussion. So I think if this was just a regular week, that would have been discussed again, and Frankie could have gone home.
That's what we love about the double evict, though, right?
Oh, yeah.
Things happen quick. Not a lot of time to make decisions.
So what were your surprises from this week, guys?
My surprise was Christine. I think she showed her true playing ability this week. It's the sort of thing that I was expecting and a lot of people were expecting from her at the beginning of the season. And again, she was laying low for a bit, but when the time came to make a big decision, I think she made the right one for her game.
I got a couple minor ones. I'm going to go with Donnie just winning the veto in general, though. I mean, I didn't really see that coming from Donnie, especially he was playing from behind early there. I mean, I know it's not the most physically imposing competition by any means, But anytime you're on the block and you can go out there with desperation and pull in a veto, show everyone else that, I'm not counting on you, I'm counting on myself. And he got that done. I mean, maybe he, needed that respirator after, but he's an old guy, so I was surprised he came up with that win. And also, I thought, Caleb having the balls to not go safe, he could have easily, Victoria and like somebody else. I like the nominations that he made, and I never really pegged him for a guy to go safe in the first place, but I'm happy he did that.
Yeah, that was Donnie's actually his third veto of the season.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, shows how good my memory is. Okay, well, still surprised that he's continuing his streak.
Yeah, no, I mean, every time he wins, it's a surprise for sure.
I only have one surprise this week. It's not actually from a house guest. It's just that the fact that the dual HOH and Battle of the Block are still going to be happening.
Is that a surprise or disappointment?
Both.
It's a disappointing surprise.
That's fair.
Yeah. All right, what about disappointments?
For me, again, it's the news that people in the jury may be able to get back into the house. Maybe a disappointing surprise, like you said, but
It's devastating for you, isn't it?
I hate it. And like Survivor, Big Brother, it's awful.
My disappointment was the Frankie not being backdoored thing, not having like a better possibility of happening.
Yeah.
We already talked about that, but I just think Frankie, he's sitting pretty good, and he knows he's sitting pretty good, and I think he would be absolutely shocked, and that'd be fun to see for us viewers.
Yeah, like how different would this week have been if Frankie was actually backdoored the first time?
And Ariana was in the crowd.
Yeah, they brought her in because of that
They
possibility.
knew it was possible.
Yeah. But it's interesting because this week we saw a bunch of people call out Frankie for like pretty much, it's almost like there's two of Frankie in the house. He's everywhere at every time with
He
everybody.
plays hard.
Yeah.
People are going to
He's
get
very hard.
annoyed, really annoyed that he's just floating around everywhere and like interrupting conversations all the
Yeah.
time.
It's going to get very obvious, too, if it isn't already obvious after 40 days or however long it's been.
Yeah.
All right, so I'm disappointed that Hayden's been evicted. I was really relying on him for points for my team and also for entertainment value with Nicole. I was a big fan of that showmance.
Nicole's going to go hard though now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She's ready for
Guns blazing.
Yeah, guns blazing, lift off. Like now that Hayden's gone, she was pissed.
Yeah, she's
Livid.
got some motivation, that's for sure.
And like Mitch, I'm also disappointed about the vote back. Not a fan.
Not a fan, eh?
All right, Mitch, let's go through the point recap for this week.
Okay, so I'm up 130 to 110 after this week. It was a big week for everybody. Everybody got 10 points for making it to jury, so that boosted up everybody's scores. It also was good that Jocasta made it to jury, and it was before that vote because that was an extra 10 points for me. I have 5 players left. I have Caleb, Christine, Nicole, Victoria, and Zach. And Michael, you have Cody, Derek, Donnie, and Frankie. So you have a pretty solid squad left.
Yeah.
In terms of actual players.
Quality over quantity.
Yeah, I was really surprised that at the end of this week I was up. Frankie and Donnie, for you, both have over 40 points, but those early unanimous evictions hurt you.
Ugh, don't remind me. Minus 19 on Joey.
Yeah, that was rough for you. But going forward, if there's going to be any unanimous evictions, it won't hurt either of us too bad because of the numbers being as low as they are now. So it's actually funny that Christine and Cody are the 2 lowest point totals left. And Victoria has more points than those 2 and Zach. So there we go.
All right, predictions for this week.
So unless Donnie, Nicole, or Victoria win HOH, then one of them's probably going home. Probably Nicole. I could also see Christine going home. That's my semi-bold prediction for the week. Yeah.
Brett?
I think they're going to come after Nicole hard, but I'm not putting it out of the realm that maybe Cody and Derek, maybe somebody tries to reel Nicole in instead of just ousting her. I mean, Nicole's on her own now, right? She's essentially on an island. She's ripe for the picking. And I don't necessarily think it would be the smartest thing, maybe to just oust her. I think if somebody, possibly, reels her in, I think that could work in their favor. I hope, personally, Cody and Derek, I think her maybe coming up with Cody and Derek could be a good thing, but
The rationale.
yeah.
Again.
yeah, but I mean she's pretty cheesed right now, so. But yeah, I mean it's hard to say what's going to happen until you know who's HOH, right?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, just without knowing who's HOH or anything this week, I think they will just quickly mop up Nicole, get her out because she's a little, I don't know, she's a loose cannon now because she's lost her guy and she's cheesed, like we say.
No more bold predictions for this week. You were right last week that Hayden would be going
I
home.
don't have a bold prediction this week. I'll be back with one next week, I promise.
But I also had
Great call on Mitch's bold prediction that Jocasta and Victoria would make it to jury.
Yeah.
They did.
But what do you guys think about Team America next week? There's two choices. They have to convince someone to go up as a pawn and then evict them, or fake a side alliance with the person that they trust the least. So I was thinking for that, they're all just going to approach Nicole
For sure.
and just try and make an alliance with Nicole. That'd be pretty funny.
For sure. That's so doable too.
3 people individually coming up to her, but I think
the other one's gonna win.
the other one's going to win, the pawn one. So it'd be interesting.
Put up a pawn. Who?
It's again, it depends on who wins HOH because
That'd be so they'd get $5,000 for knocking out Victoria.
it's like if
That's not
Nicole,
bad.
like if it's so easy that it's always a cop out with that. But I mean, it's just like if Nicole wins HOH, like she's not gonna listen to what Team America's telling her.
No, hell no.
So they might fail this week. Again, it depends on who wins HOH.
Got off to a hot start, but the boys are ice cold lately.
Yeah. All right. Well, it sure was a crazy week in the Big Brother house. Made up for some of those unanimous votes earlier on in the season. Tune in next week for the fallout from the double eviction. Thanks for listening to the B2M2 podcast. Thanks to Brett Beaulne for joining us.
B3M2.
Ooh.
Maybe.
Ooh.
We'll recap this performance after.
Wow.
No, thanks for having me though, guys. Appreciate it.
Thanks
All
for
right.
joining.
For Mitchell Machtinger, I'm Michael Hoad. See you later.